I'm Lisa Birnbach for Howdini, wondering how much drinking can we do over the holidays? I just don't know. But luckily, Elizabeth Sommer knows. She's a dietitian and an author. Elizabeth, there's so much alcohol around over the holidays, and you want to be in a festive mood. Sometimes you definitely, not sometimes, you often want to imbibe.
Oh, and yes, don't you dare take away my red wine. I get feisty if you do. No, of course, alcohol can be part of the festivities, but I think sometimes people aren't aware how many calories are in some of those drinks.
I'm not aware.
I know, they can be quite surprising. Now, some of the not so traditional drinks, but ones that are real popular these days, like the apple martinis and the cosmopolitans and the Long Island iced teas, for instance. You know, a large Long Island iced tea can have up to 1,000 calories in it. That's more calories than you'd get in a platter of French fried onion rings. So we're talking, you know, there can be
That's a
lot.
shocker.
I know, it is a shocker. There can be anywhere from 200 to 300 calories in a margarita or a cosmopolitan.
Now, you're talking about sweet drinks, or you just were now. What about a glass of red wine, a glass of white wine?
Much better. About 100, 120, of course, depends on how big the glass is.
Right.
But if it's a regular, like 5-ounce glass of red wine, it's about 100, 120 calories in that, and that's certainly a much better option. But they still can add up, of course. So, you know, one idea is to have your red wine or your white wine, but intersperse it with every other drink being a glass of ice water or sparkling water or Diet Cola or something like that, so that, one, you don't get too drunk at the party, and two, that you sort of spread those calories out a little bit.
Why do you think people drink so much during the holidays? Is it anxiety?
Oh, it's lots of stuff. We're in a festive mood. That's part of it, and it's the holidays, and there's just a lot more opportunity, a lot more party going. I know I go to more parties in December than I go all year round the rest of the year. So part of it, it's just there. And then when you're at parties, sometimes you're a little nervous. So it's a way to sort of calm yourself down, and there's nothing wrong with having a cosmopolitan even, but you know, don't have 2 or 3 of them, or a lemon drop, or even some of those other drinks. The eggnogs can have 200, 300 calories. Hot buttered rum can have up to 400 calories. So just be, you know, if you're having one, have one, not several, and then really focus on the less calorific drinks elsewhere.
Now, some parties actually plan drink agendas, right? If you're at a dinner party, there may be certain cocktails during the cocktail time, and then maybe they serve white wine with certain courses, red wine with certain courses, an after dinner drink or a sweet wine. I mean, sometimes you feel like you're not being a good guest if you don't try what they're serving you.
Well, then what you need to do is defend your food and drink turf a little bit better. You don't have to say yes to everything that crosses your plate. You know, maybe if you anticipate a problem or a situation like that, then decide ahead of time, okay, well, I really like the before dinner drink, and that kind of loosens me up, but I don't need to be slugging down several glasses of wine through dinner. Maybe I'll just limit myself to one. You know, maybe have some guidelines there.
What about diluting the drinks so that they're not as potent and not as calorific?
Sure, you can do that, or you've got some alternatives. You know, maybe if it's an open bar kind of thing and you were thinking about having something like, let's say, a margarita, have a mojito instead. It has significantly fewer calories. If you're going to have an alcoholic beverage, have a gin and tonic, but have it with a calorie-free tonic.
They make that?
Yes, and you can cut your calories a lot doing that, you know, down to less than 100 calories. Or dilute them. Yeah, put a lot of ice in the glass so that there's, you know, less, you know, you've still got something to sort of do with your hands, and you've got that up to your mouth thing, but you're consuming fewer calories.
Now, in terms of holiday drinking, is there a way to reduce the effects of the alcohol? You've done your best, you've tried to drink some water in between the alcohol, but is there a way to get less hungover based on how you drink?
Well, if you eat, of course, that'll help to soak it up a little bit, but there's a lot of myths there too, like have a cup of coffee and that'll sober you up.
Oh yeah, that doesn't work?
No, that just makes you a wide awake drunk instead. No, really the best thing to do is gauge it so that you're not drinking, you know, you're not slugging them down several drinks in an hour, but rather sort of spreading it out a little bit. And if you don't follow that rule, then of course make sure somebody else is driving you home.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
For Howdini, I'm Lisa Birnbach.